Hi again, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of our first person interview, sponsored by the Buckeye Insurance Group in Piqua and the Coverman Dickerson Agency representing Buckeye in Troy, Piqua, and Covington. We're talking baseball this week with a good friend, one of the great high school baseball coaches in Southwest Ohio. In fact, good enough to have won 2 of the last 4 Division IV championships at Fort Loramie High School. Bill Sturwold, great to have you with us. Fun to talk baseball. Haven't had too many opportunities to talk since the championship last June. I was between gigs at that time. There was no press pro, so it's good to sit down and talk about it now. And before anything else, I want to go back and talk about that a little bit, and I'm sure you don't mind.
Oh, that was a great experience. Justin Hoyne, Mitch Ratterman, they got hot at the right time, and they were outstanding. And that was their goal, was to win the state championship.
You know, we're sitting here in your den at home with all the trappings of your success at Fort Loramie. Hal would call this the man cave. You've got everything here. What's it take to have a good man cave, by the way?
Well, an understanding wife, I believe. This is where I come whenever we lose a tough one, and she just leaves me in here and lets me realize. She just leaves me alone. She knows I need to think about the next game.
You know, we talked about that championship game last June, and I said it as a compliment. I think you get riled up when I say this, but that's you talking coach and me talking old player and a guy that just likes to watch the game. Seldom have I ever seen a championship won so easily as you guys did on that day, because you got the one-hit shutout from Justin Hoyne, great pitching, great defense, timely hitting, and I mean, honestly, you made it look easy.
Well, the Justin and the kids made it look easy. I mean, the 3-hour rain delay, there's not anything easy about that. And the kids, sometimes there's more pressure. We knew we had the better team, and there was more pressure on us last year than the year before, because when you're expected to win and you do win, it's quite an achievement.
It has to make you feel good, though, because to come out and play that way on the biggest day of those kids' lives. This is what you worked for 4 years with a group of kids. Play confidently, execute, play the way you practice, and boy, they made it look, as I said, they made it look easy that day.
They did. They played with calm confidence. There wasn't a doubt in my mind they were going to play well when we left for Columbus. I just felt that way about that group. They were so focused. I would have been totally shocked if we'd have broke down, but kids are kids, and I really felt good about that group, and we're going to continue it.
Every good team you've had, and certainly your 2 championship teams in 2007 and last year, you've had such good interior defense, up the middle defense. Derek Coverstone, Jake Berger behind the plate, Jared Hoyne, Justin Hoyne at shortstop, Mitch Berger at second base, Ratterman in center field. You know, you got to feel blessed to have 4 kids on 2 teams like that in 4 years that can play the way they did.
Yeah, that's the core of your defense, is up the middle, and naturally, and this year we're solid up the middle, and Plattner and Goldie behind the plate, and Miracles in center, and Shields and Bullheimer do a nice job. That's every team does that, and I'm just got out of practice, and you're talking about last year. All my focus is on this week, so it's kind of really hard to look back at that, but. It's this the way you build your program. Any good team does that. Every coach around here has their best athletes up the middle.
Bill Sturwold, the coach of the Fort Loramie Redskins, the reigning Division IV champion in Ohio high school baseball. We'll be back to talk more about the 2011 team that he just mentioned right after this message from the Coverman Dickerson Agency representing the Buckeye Insurance Group in Troy, Piqua, and Covington.
The Coverman Dickerson Agency, with offices in Troy, Piqua, and Covington, is pleased to be the sponsoring Buckeye Insurance Group agent for this first-person interview. For farm, auto, and homeowner insurance, Coverman Dickerson is one of the area's fastest-growing Buckeye providers, with a history of service and competitive rates. And we're also an outstanding source of coverage for families with young drivers. For farm, auto, and home policies, call the Coverman Dickerson Agency, proud to represent Buckeye Insurance Group.
Welcome back to this week's First Person Edition with Loramie head baseball coach Bill Sturwold. You talk about your 2011 team. I got a chance to see them last week against Coldwater. You didn't win that game, but again, as you mentioned, you see a lot of the attributes of your good baseball teams. Strong defense up the middle, your pitchers threw strikes.
The pitchers threw strikes, kept us in the game. Coldwater's an outstanding program. We've seen their 1 and 2 pitchers. We had a chance to win it in the end, and that's all you can ask for out of your kids is to stay into the play solid baseball, and if you do have an inning where things go south a little bit, you gotta go into damage control and make sure you still throw the ball the right base and it doesn't snowball.
You know, you haven't mentioned Andy Schultz's name, but he's the one guy left over. You mentioned to me a couple of weeks ago, the one guy can still hit the ball out of the ballpark for you. He represents the power of this team. And yet I asked Andy recently, I said, you feel like you're like, out there on an island because everybody else graduated and left, and here you are. He said, no, it's still baseball. I just like to play.
Yeah, well, Troy Plattner, he was a big part of our success last year. That's how good we were last year. He's a pretty good hitter, and he didn't get a hit. That's how solid. He's batting fourth behind Andy, and that's pretty good protection, and Albers bats behind him. So we got two guys behind Andy that put it in play and are going to hit decent average, so we're not too concerned about Andy getting walked all the time. Those guys will pick it up, and they can battle with the best pitchers. And our strength of schedule is what helps playing Bell Fountain and Coldwater first week of the season. Naturally, we got a young team where they might struggle a little bit, but in the end, it's going to pay off for us.
It's remarkable to me, and I know a lot of coaches will hear this and appreciate the fact that your kids, realistically, and maybe compared to some other programs around the state, don't play a lot of baseball. It's a small school, shared athletes in football, basketball, baseball. I don't know what all their other interests are, but you know, they play enough baseball, and you seem to have that attribute of instilling the value of baseball and what a neat sport it is. You don't have to explain that to me, but your kids really seem to enjoy it and make the most of it.
These guys just like being on the ball diamond now. Once we're done with our last Acme game in early July, I tell them, go do what you want. I mean, if you go and play football, go play it. Golf, whatever, just have fun. And some kids take advantage of Frosty's Fall League, and they just like being around the ball diamond. And there's no pressure on them in their off season. I just tell them to be kids, and if they want to work at it, they will. And if they want to play football, my goodness, go play it. That's great.
I'm going to give you an opportunity here. I'm going to give you this opportunity. People all the time say the best coaches were never great players. Bill Sturwold was a player, high school baseball player. What kind of player were you?
I was a catcher for the Rushi Raiders.
How'd you get that in?
Yeah, I did all right, and we had some success, but not the success of on the back wall here, but had some great friends, and we had some great times.
It's a lot of fun, high school baseball.
Oh, yeah.
You remember it for life, and even the kids that can't play very well, I don't know what there is about it, but a lot of them leave high school loving the game of baseball for life because of guys like Bill Sturwold and Frosty Brown and Jim Hardman. Great to have you. Congratulations on the championship again. It's always fun to sit and talk baseball with you.
All righty. Thanks, Sonny.
All right. Bill Sturwold, the coach of the Fort Loramie Redskins. This week's edition of First Person brought to you by the Buckeye Insurance Group in Piqua and the Coverman Dickerson Agency representing Buckeye and Troy, Piqua and Covington. That wraps up this week. Until next time, thanks for watching and logging on to PressProsMagazine.com. See you next time here on First Person.
If you are looking for quality insurance protection from a reliable company, sold by professionals, in communities like yours, that's what you'll get from Buckeye Insurance Group.
Buckeye Insurance Group, insuring the heartland.
To find your local Buckeye agent, visit buckeye-ins.com. Buckeye Insurance Group, insuring the heartland.
Insuring the heartland.